That is the boldest thing I've heard. Wow.
AFC South title and wins MVP.
Dude, I can't take you seriously.
Really?
502 games.
No way.
No way. I could have ran for 100 yards this touchdown.
I stopped listening halfway through. That's a bad take.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to
Neutral Zone Reaction
for our Black Friday Blitz. It's good to see you all here, and we've got a whole lot on the plate today. We're going to recap our Thanksgiving games from yesterday, go over the Black Friday game that starts in just over an hour or two. We've got Chosen or Frozen. We've got best and worst deals of the free agency. Whole lot of stuff to go over. You ready to go?
I'm good. Let's go.
Let's start it up. Let's talk about some Thanksgiving stuff because we had a couple blowouts and then a semi-close game yesterday. Not entirely.
There were no close games.
Which game you want to start with?
I want to start with the first game, the Packers and the Lions.
The Packers and the
I want to get it over with.
Lions.
Jordan Love looked fantastic. It was hard to watch as a Bears fan. He looked good. The Lions are returning to form. They lost to the Moon Gibbous phase. It's the Gibbous phase.
Waxing Gibbous. Yeah. They can't beat the Waxing Gibbous.
They're returning to form, so I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, the Lions, I don't know what happened. I turned the game on and they were getting murdered already. Like, what's going on?
It was 23-6 when I finally sat down.
Yeah, I mean, bad. Rashawn Gary absolutely went off. 3 sacks. He had a fumble, fumble, maybe 2 forced fumbles. They scored a touchdown. The Packers are back in the race for the wild card all of a sudden.
Just scary. But the Packers look good. The rest of the wild card teams do not look good outside the boys.
Yeah, they've got they're 5-6, and then we got Seattle at 6-5. We got
the Vikings at 6-5.
6-5.
Cowboys are competing for their division right now, so it's really a 3-man race between two. It's a 3-man race for 2 spots.
Yeah. I mean, I could see a couple other teams getting involved a little later.
I could not see the Bucks or the
Bucks have a lot of games against NFC South left. So did the Saints and Falcons. But I don't think they'll compete for a while.
One of those teams is going to have to win the division, then the other 2 are just going to get pummeled into the
Hey, the Packers still have to play the Bears this season.
Yeah,
in the last week.
That's another free win.
We could knock them out of the plajaff race
very last
that
would be so funny just to screw ourselves of another top 5.
Oh, of course. So Jared Goff. He's been a little inconsistent lately. I don't know what's going on.
I honestly don't know because a couple years ago, I remember the Bears kind of figured out Jared Goff. You remember that Monday? You remember that?
Oh, I'll never forget that Sunday night game.
Yeah, that Sunday night game.
15-6.
And it feels like the Packers kind of figured out what Jared Goff does. And if you put pressure on him and you make him uncomfortable, Jared Goff is not the same quarterback. Jared Goff under pressure, he crumbles under pressure. It happens every time. Every time he's in a cold weather game, every time he's under pressure against a better D-line, he tends to crumble. It's consistent. It happens every time. It happened in LA when he would go to cold weather games. It happened in the Super Bowl. It happens in Detroit. We've seen it. This is the recurring story. And now that the Lions O-line is finally a little shifty, a little shaky, he's getting pressure and he's starting to crumble. He's turning it over more than he should.
Well, I told my friend who's a Cowboy fan that we'd find even with the Cowboys killing Washington yesterday, we'd still find some way to trash on Dallas. You know, Dallas and Detroit both, I'm pretty sure all their wins this season are against teams with a losing record.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature. They're not beating the big dogs. So
they beat the Bears.
Yeah, because we're such a winning record type of team.
Moving on to the Cowboys game, the Commanders need to burn down their entire organization. It is. I'm wearing their old logo today. This is a Sean Taylor. This is a Sean Taylor sweatshirt because I just cannot take the current state of this franchise. It is. I have friends who like this franchise. It's an embarrassment. They don't know what they're doing. Their quarterback throws for 350 yards every week and puts up 10 points. It is unbelievable what they do. I don't understand it. Eric Bieniemy needs to go to a real team. Ron Rivera needs to go to no team, and they need to just pack shit. Did you
know that Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards?
Yeah, and
leads the league in interceptions, and leads the league in sacks. It's if it stands, would be the first quarterback in NFL history since they
'cause
started
that's not
recording
normal.
sacks in
That's not normal.
1970.
It's like the Steelers are playing like they're from 1970s, and the Washington and the Commanders are like 70 years ahead of everyone, and it's too far. I don't know.
Yeah, the Commanders. I mean, you gotta.
They're
We
awful.
bet on
They're
them to
awful.
score over 16 and a half
Oh
points
yeah.
yesterday.
We had a plus 600 parlay. Everything hit. All the Sam Howell turnovers and the Cowboys to kill them. That all hit. Then they just need to score 17 points, and they couldn't do it. They like
What a
folded in
letdown.
garbage time. They just let the clock run out. They're a disappointing franchise. They really are.
They've got to scrap the season. I know a lot of Washington fans are calling for Ron Rivera to get fired.
Yeah, he should.
I think he'll be out by the end of the year. I mean, he was a
need to
great
find-
coach in Carolina. He kept Washington in it for a few years, but their
there's
franchise
a
has been
ceiling
going
with
nowhere in the past 3 years, and
They
their
really
players are sick of it. Jonathan Allen on the sideline a couple weeks ago, he's throwing his helmet saying, "I'm tired of this, tired of this." So
It's a great impersonation.
yeah, of course. I'm just leaving out a few choice words.
Yeah, of course.
from Jonathan.
Of course.
And let's go to the night game.
Yeah. I mean,
Seahawks 13 points against the Niners. They didn't score a single offensive touchdown. I mean, Geno finally wrote back, it seems.
Geno did right back, and Geno looked awful. Maybe it could be the injury. You think it could have been the injury? I don't
I
know.
honestly don't think it was. I
He
think it
didn't
was
look
the 49ers just dominating.
I mean, the 49ers do this every time they play the Seahawks, though. When's the last time there's been a close Seahawks 49ers game?
Stay back, so the mic gets
Sorry about your mic.
you.
When's the last time there's been a close Seahawks 49ers game? I couldn't tell you. I mean, when Russell Wilson was there years ago, I mean,
It's been a minute. The last couple games have,
it's a
have
blowout.
definitely gone
It's
in
always
the
a
Niners'
It's
favor.
always a blowout.
They played on
It's
primetime
so
last year
predictable.
at one point. I think it was 21-13 Niners, very similar type of game.
Yeah, but I mean, the Niners kind of dominated that game.
They
That
sure
was also
did.
Jimmy G, I'm pretty sure.
Might have been. Might have
Honestly,
been.
I don't remember.
Well,
Regardless.
I picked final score would be 30-17. So we were a little close there, I'd say.
He needs his moral victories.
Yeah, if we can't win any parlays, we gotta think that at least we got close. you know?
Anyways, let's
But
move on. Go and look. Who are the Turkey Day champs? Would you say though? of this
Turkey
game?
Day champs.
We'll start with the Niners game.
I'm gonna go. I mean, San Francisco's
That's not.
Christian
You
McCaffrey.
can't say the team that
no,
won.
No.
What are we doing here?
I gotta go McCaffrey. He had a 100-yard day.
God,
He had
that's so
2
boring.
touchdowns. It is boring, but he just couldn't be stopped. And he has the highest average scrimmage yards against any team. He gets 174, I think, yards per average against Seattle.
Yeah, he's good.
whenever they play.
174 point yards. Okay.
No
Anyways.
yards. What, did you have anyone different?
Yeah, Russell Wilson is the winner of that game. Look, Russell Wilson has been getting, crapped on this whole time because he's always on the butt end of this train. And it finally looks like the Broncos won this train. He's the better quarterback because he's been compared to Geno, which, to be honest, should have been unfair to Geno, but it was unfair to Russ. And now Geno looks awful, and Russ looks great. And Russ is good. Yeah, good for Russ.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos are suddenly surging.
Russ is cooking.
You're having a turnaround season when Ghetto Gronk and NFL memes post the apology form.
That's facts. Love those.
Who's
Okay.
your Turkey Day MVP for the other 2 games?
Well, for my Green Bay Detroit game, it is Jonathan Owens, who is Simone Biles' husband. Because everyone knows through social media that Simone Biles' husband is some guy on the Packers. I've known it for months. Everyone knows it. Nobody knows who the dude is. When I was researching this, I remember her posting, so I had to Google who is Simone Biles' husband like an hour ago to do this. But Jonathan Owens, that's the name. He got a touchdown. He made a few plays. So good for that dude. He is no longer Simone Biles' husband. He's Jonathan Owens, the defensive back for the Packers, and he's decent. So he's the winner of the Packers game.
Okay, well, I'm surprised you didn't go Rashawn Gary, but I'll go Rashawn Gary, who just absolutely went off.
I don't want to be
But-
I don't want to be boring.
But yeah, speaking of being boring, I'm going to change my McCaffrey pick to Charvarius Ward
Oh my
because he was locked down all night, and every time he was on the field, he was making plays. And we had a DK prop, and Geno lost it up. We're like, DK, 50 yards, and Charvarius Ward just tips it out at the very last second. Very disappointing.
It's very accurate.
And
Yeah,
then
good acting. by
The
Jones.
middle game, the Cowboys game.
Cowboys game, Deron Bland. I
Yeah.
mean, that's boring, but he set a record. I mean, I feel
It
like
is
we got to
boring.
give it to him. He makes plays. He's a playmaker.
Well,
I'm happy for him.
speaking of Deron Bland, let's move on to Chosen or Frozen,
Chosen
sponsored
or
by
Frozen.
Culver's.
All right.
Go ahead, lead it. Why?
Well,
Let's talk a little
let's
bit
talk
about
Culver's.
Culver's.
So Culver's is one of the things we're very thankful for. They provided me a job for the last couple of years. Every time you go to Culver's, the people there are awesome. You get greeted with a smile. You're thanked for coming. Thanked for your order. You get great food. It's Black Friday. If you want to go score some good deals on food, burgers, desserts, whatever it may be, go get your money's worth. Go get some good food. Head down to Culver's. And then Culver's flavors of the day today, actually. We got some good ones. So out in Lincolnshire, we got pumpkin pecan, which is very festive, of course. We got chocolate volcano and BG for those who like more chocolatey desserts. Then we got espresso toffee bar, something in the middle out in Northbrook.
Wow.
So some very high quality flavors today. If you can head out to Culver's, score some deals between shopping, maybe.
Of course.
Always a good idea.
And who's our Chosen or Frozen players this week? Drop something in the comments if you got someone that you want to nominate. But lead us off. Who's chosen?
So my chosen player for the last few weeks is CJ Stroud.
The MVP candidate.
CJ Stroud has been on a tear. I don't know why he's been on a tear. I don't understand how. He couldn't beat Michigan, but he is destroying everyone in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, since our last Chosen or Frozen episode, he's led 2 comebacks.
He's got some 5'8" dude just running around killing everyone. Looking like the best receiver in the league, the next Tyreek Hill. And he shreds every defense. It's unbelievable. The Texans are hot. They look good. They have a big game against the Jazz coming up. And I think he's going to continue his run. So CJ Stroud's my chosen player.
I think he's chosen for sure. I picked 2 because one of them is the boring pick, who I think is the obvious pick. We already said he's the Turkey Day champ, but Deron Bland for the Cowboys.
Fair. I mean, you can't go wrong with Deron Bland right now.
They lose Trayvon Diggs in like week 3, week 2.
Yeah, and this guy steps up.
We think the Cowboys secondary is going to be toast for the rest of the season. How are they going to guard A.J. Brown? How are they going to guard all these other guys? And suddenly this dude steps in. He's broken the NFL record for pick sixes by week 12.
He's ridiculous.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 5 house calls this year. And Jim Nance is losing his mind over there when
Jim Nance is going crazy.
He gets the pick. He goes, "Oh my God, it's going to be an NFL record if he can take it back." And he makes the 2 guys with, "Oh my goodness, that's insanity."
That was peak Commanders when he takes a dodge and he just collided.
Oh yeah, you just had to know it was going to happen.
It had to happen against the Commanders.
That
was so fitting.
So I would say Deron Bland. Stroud we've talked about a couple times lately. I think he definitely could be the chosen one, but given that we chose a Texan during one of the previous chosen Frozens, Nico Collins, I gotta say Deron has to be the main pick here. But my backup, in case that was too easy of a pick, I'm gonna go Kyle Hamilton. He's balling out in his second season.
Yeah,
it's been 10 games, 11 games for the Ravens. I don't know if they've had their bye yet, but he already has as many tackles as he had all of last season, as many sacks, as many forced fumbles. He has 2 interceptions this year. He's got more passes defended. He's balling out.
He's a 6'4", 220 safety. He's a tank.
And to think about how they started that game out against, was it against the Bengals or the week before?
They played the Bengals last week.
It might have been the week before against the Browns. Yeah, it was against Deshaun Watson. Literally like the first play of the game, pick 6, Kyle Hamilton. He's a force of nature. I still don't know why everyone passed on him for so long in the draft 2 years ago.
Because he's a safety. You don't take a safety at the top.
Well, he was really high up on people's list and just kept falling. He went all the way down to 14.
I don't think he fell to 14. I think he got drafted appropriately at 14.
I'm going to disagree with that. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He was a top 5 blue chip prospect. And all these teams pass him. Finally the Ravens scooped him at 14. It's worked out perfectly for them. So that's my chosen nominee.
Fair.
Give me a Frozen nominee.
My Frozen one might be boring, but I wanted to kind of go against CJ Stroud. I picked Bryce Young. He averages 168 yards passing a game. He's been lower than that the last few games. They've won 1 game by 2 against the Texans, which that was a weird game to be honest. He's just bad. I don't understand it. The Panthers' whole offense is abysmal. They don't move the ball. They don't score. Like, even the Bears, they couldn't score on the Bears. They didn't score an offensive touchdown against the Bears when they played a couple weeks ago. It's awful.
We agreed too much on the last time we were on the show. I'm going to disagree with you there. You look when they had the Bears game, they showed this little graphic of the last 4 or 5 quarterbacks drafted first overall. Bryce Young was 1-6 or 1-7 when they played us. Trevor Lawrence started horrible. They got the first overall pick the very next year, and they did not do very well.
Yeah,
Joe,
but Trevor
Joe Burrow, got injured his first season, but he didn't start out that hot. And you got other guys. I can't remember who else was on the list.
Okay, hey, okay.
But none of the recent first overall pick quarterbacks have started out very well. And I mean, I don't think you can give up on him that early. He ain't frozen just yet. The whole offense has been abysmal.
Okay, first off, Joe Burrow was insane his rookie year. He had like 3 500-yard passing games in his first 6 games.
No, that was not his rookie year. That was next season.
No, that was his rookie year. We'll look at it later. I would bet money on that. He definitely did. He had like
next season when he broke out against the Ravens.
No, when he broke out his rookie year, he was good his rookie year. He had like a bunch of 300-yard games, and then he got hurt after.
300? Oh, what happened to 500-yard games?
No. Oh, I meant to say 300. No, he didn't have a 500-yard games rookie year. That's too far. That's what I meant.
There was another quarterback.
No, also, frozen is about who's frozen right now, and Bryce is frozen right now. Because with Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow and all these other quarterbacks, we saw these wow plays, these big crazy plays in between all the mess. Bryce has had what wow plays has Bryce Young made? He's had a few nice drives, I guess, but they just don't score. It's not like they're not losing these games 2017. They're losing these games 30-3, 30-7.
I cannot it's just agree with you here. The frozen player is about who is like stuck in their slump and not getting out. Bryce Young
is stuck right now, and I did not see him getting out.
Stuck in a slump. He's not been performing well, but he's not going to be stuck there. He's going to crack through the ice. I mean, this guy is one of the most talented guys I've seen in college ball. There's no reason for me to think that he won't be improving soon. I don't think he's done and down for.
I don't think he's improved. I don't think this year anything drastic is going to happen. I mean, their team's awful.
Not this year.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? So someone can be frozen for the next. They have to be frozen for the next 7 years to be on this segment. What are we talking about?
Oh, give me a break.
Who's your frozen player?
Well, like Mac Jones was frozen a few weeks ago. I don't see him ever even. He might never start another game.
If Mac Jones goes to a new team, he could totally be a capable quarterback.
Oh, excuse me. Mac Jones is garbage.
Yeah, right now he's garbage. Right now, Bryce Young is garbage too.
If you put Mac Jones on another team, he's doing just what he's doing on the Patriots.
If you put Bryce Young on another team, what do you think he's doing? He's not
playing better than he is right now because the Panthers are terrible.
Yeah, the Patriots are terrible. What are you? What is this?
Bryce Young has talent, and Mac Jones has shown time and time again that he does not. That he will throw it 10 yards underthrown right into my hands playing safety. I mean, this guy is horrible. Mac Jones is absolutely valid to be frozen. Bryce Young
is also very valid
absolutely can be a playmaker. If you put Bryce Young on another
team
right now.
What plays has Bryce Young made, though, with the Panthers?
Not
many.
I don't know
if he's made any. He's got 9 touchdown passes in 10 games.
I cannot say he's stuck down in this slump.
He's not frozen for eternity. He's not frozen for eternity, but I think he's frozen for the next couple weeks.
All right. Well,
anyways, who's your frozen player that's frozen for eternity?
My frozen player who is frozen for eternity. He's a young guy, second season, but I don't think I think he might never get a starting job.
Is it Kenny Pickett?
It is not. It is not a quarterback this week.
Okay.
I went Dameon Pierce. He showed some burst last year. He showed some capability. This year, he has 4 games of 30 to 40 rushing yards in the 30s. 4 games. His other games, he's had 46 rushing yards, 66, and 81. And then he missed the last 1.5 games to injury.
That's fair. They're also playing with a new system, new quarterback. They didn't expect CJ Stroud.
Well, CJ Stroud is amazing. So but
they don't run the ball as much as they did previous years. Like last year,
they've been running the ball plenty. They just have his yards per carry has been pitiful. And the thing is, they have Pierce out. Singletary comes in, and suddenly Singletary's had back-to-back 100-yard games. So clearly, the offensive line is not the problem. And
that's a good pick.
I don't see Dameon Pierce getting the starting job back ever. I think, I made a dumb mistake of not starting Singletary in fantasy last week, which was
reliving
stupid.
On his
but
past drama.
I'm honestly thinking, like, Pierce comes back. I don't think he's going to make it. He might get 5 or 6 carries. I don't think he's ever getting the starting role back. Will Singletary be the guy in Houston for years to come? Probably not. But I don't think Pierce will be. I think they maybe get a guy like Jalen Wright from Tennessee, who's got a faster top speed this season than anyone in the entire NFL.
Yeah, and last time,
Got to shout out my Tennessee boys.
Velus Jones is pretty fast in college.
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure. But Jalen Wright, perfect fit for the Titans. But pair him with CJ Stroud, they got a tandem for years to come.
Anyways,
So that's my frozen player.
Let's talk about today's Black Friday game.
Let's talk about it.
Shall we? What do we think?
Let's move back to
It's the Finns and the Jets.
Oh, wrong way.
Holy
out. There we
cow.
go.
There we go.
Let's go to the Bens. So Black Friday game. We got the Jets and the Dolphins lead us off. What do you think for this game?
I think this is gonna be a tough game to watch. As much as I love football,
Big Tim Boyle fan over here.
he was a Bear. I'm a big Tim Boyle fan. I think he sucks, but I'm a fan. I mean, I don't know. He was awful in college. I don't know how he's in the league. I don't know how he found himself in the starting position.
UConn alum.
He was supposedly worse than Zach Wilson for 2.5 months, and now he's all of a sudden better. I don't understand it. I don't know why he's going to be on the field.
I mean, it's not about being better than Zach Wilson. It's just Zach Wilson's been so pitifully bad that they need to switch it up with anyone.
It is Finns by 1 million today. That's plain and simple.
The spread's -9.5. We'll get into that this week in Vegas.
I think if it was 19.5, I think I'd play it. It is bad.
Last week the Bills dominated the Jets. And the Jets are at home this week. That could play a little bit of a difference.
God.
They were in Buffalo last week.
Give me a break. Buffalo's like an hour drive from New York. They're both in the same state.
Buffalo is 4 hours from New York City.
Are you serious? Oh, okay. I lied.
Buffalo
it's still the same state.
Nowhere close.
Similar climate. It's not like you're not from Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I think the Dolphins might struggle a little more than you're thinking.
I don't think the Dolphins are going to be up 30-0 in the first quarter, but I think over the course of the game, I think the Jets just aren't going to score points.
Well, here's the thing. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I don't see how the Jets are. I don't know how the Jets are going to score.
At the same time, the Dolphins have played a defense as good as the Jets once this year. And it was when they lost to the Bills. And then they've played another defense pretty good, the Chiefs, and they put up 14 points.
Fair, but they also...
the Dolphins, we've yet to see them perform against a good defense. They couldn't play well against the Eagles. I still think the Dolphins have this by 1 million, but I don't think it'll be as high scoring as I don't think they're going to dominate as much as you think. Well, I think they could start slow, maybe. I
think a slow start is very possible, but I don't know how the Jets are going to score points with Tim Boyle leading that offense. I seriously
you never know, but I agree with you.
I seriously think they're going to be in the single digits today. Like very confident I can say that.
And
so I think eventually the Finns are just their offense is too good to not score. They're gonna pull away, put up 20-something, 30-something points, just because they have possession after possession after possession. When the Jets go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah, you can't hang with guys fast as Tyree and Jalen Waddle.
You can't hang with Tyree,
and
Tua giving the ball. You can't hang with that for 60 minutes when your offense just does not go forward.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we both think it'll be not very close game,
but it is free football on a Friday at 2, so let's all be happy.
Absolutely. And speaking of Black Friday. Let's take a little backtrack to before the season and say, who do you think were the best and worst free agent deals this year?
So
were we getting some deals or not?
So I think one of the best big deals we got ahead of time. I don't know if this was even free agent, but I think one of the best deals of the offseason, Lamar Jackson staying with the Ravens.
Lamar. Okay.
I mean, the Ravens are our top 3 team in the league right now. Lamar is balling out like I said he would, and he didn't listen. Lamar is fantastic.
I said Lamar was a possible MVP pick at the start of the season.
You always hate on Lamar.
I do. I hate on you riding Lamar.
Because Lamar is fantastic, and this is why. Because when he's finally healthy and he gets some weapons, when he gets ancient OBJ and rookie receivers that are capable, he's an MVP candidate.
Mark Andrews is out for the season, though. I don't think he's going to keep his MVP candidacy
I think he's just
too much longer.
I think just everything he's doing is going to be emphasized more without Mark Andrews. I think Lamar is fantastic. I think however much they gave him so much money, I don't care. He's on the team. That's what matters. Any price for Lamar is a steal. So that's my biggest.
Any price for Lamar is a steal.
I mean, you can't give him $100 million a year, but any normal contract, not normal. That's not a normal contract. Any quarterback contract for Lamar is a steal.
Okay, so you went more big time, like.
Well, I got some smaller ones too.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I got 2 smaller ones. So one of them is TJ Edwards.
The Bears had to throw his bear in there.
I had to give something to the Bears. The Bears don't do much right, but this is good. 3 years, $19.5 million. That's $6.5 a year. He leads the NFL in tackles. He got a pick this weekend. He's created a few turnovers. He's a great player. He's in the middle of defense. He gets 100 tackles a game. I mean, I don't know how many tackles he has. He leads the NFL in tackles. He's everywhere. It's a great sign. Another one is Patrick Peterson, 2 years, $14 million with the Steelers. He makes plays all the time. He said how he's always wanted to play in a Mike Tomlin system. And he's a playmaker. He's a great mentor for the corners. And he just boosts that level of defense, especially with Minka out. Having that great veteran presence there just boosts the whole secondary.
That great veteran presence, man.
He's a Hall of Fame level player. But Patrick Peterson to the Steelers was an underrated signing and a great one too, I think, especially pairing him with Mike Tomlin.
Steelers D has been all right this year, but they've been pretty good. But the secondary has not been pretty good for them. They have not strong. They've not been very good against the
Steelers don't give up points. This whole defense.
They don't give up points because their front seven is locked down. Their secondary,
So imagine what
a little iffy.
So imagine what it would be like if Patrick Peterson.
If Pat Pete
wasn't there, they would be a 4-6 team out of the playoff race. So thank you to Pat Pete from all Steelers fans. I'm not a Steelers.
He's really.
I'm not a Steelers fan.
This week.
I'm not a Steelers fan.
We got a little go Titans.
I'm a Bears fan and I'm a Commanders support system for some.
Yeah, they need their support.
They need their support
badly.
So badly. Anyways, who are your good free agent signings?
My good free agent signing
or your best free agent
is actually someone also on the Steelers. And I've got two guys for this. I didn't write one down. But I've got two guys. The first one, I'm going back to Pittsburgh, Elandon Roberts. This guy has been one of those role player, unsung hero pieces for this defense.
And he won the offseason somehow.
He had a 2-year, $7 million deal. They got an absolute steal for this guy. He's played on multiple different teams before. I think he was on the Patriots, maybe the Dolphins. He's been balling out. Like, they've needed guys around TJ Watt to make plays. You wonder why Pittsburgh's had one of the best run defenses, had one of the best pass rushes. They can blitz Elandon Roberts. They can keep him in the middle. Having other options there so that the defense cannot double and triple team TJ Watt every play. They got Alex Highsmith on the other side. But having Elandon there in the middle, I just think it's been a bigger impact than we might have seen before, than one might have expected from a small $7 million deal. He's getting 3.5 per year.
Fair.
Pretty small numbers there.
Great math, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
My second steal player is another linebacker and another journeyman guy, Kyle Van Noy for Baltimore.
Kyle Van Noy is a stud. He's always good. He is
always good. And every time I turn the game on,
he also always ends up back to the Patriots at the end, no matter what. Someone will drop him and then the Patriots sign for nothing.
Every time that I've turned the Ravens game on, I just see this dude making a play. And, these are some of the reasons they're Super Bowl contenders. They got my chosen player, Kyle Hamilton. They got role players like Kyle Van Noy. They got your guy, Lamar. I mean, even without Mark Andrews, I could see the Ravens making a big-time run. We could see a Ravens-Dolphins AFC Championship, perhaps. You never know.
It is possible.
But Roquan Smith, big steal for them for just a second rounder, of course. Go Bears.
Yeah. What GM would do that?
What
GM would give up Roquan Smith? what type of franchise would do that?
It was a good trade for us. He wasn't going to re-sign with Chicago.
It was.
Both teams won the trade. But Roquan, he feels so good being able to actually make an impact there. Patrick Queen out of LSU. He's been getting better and better. So those are my two steals.
Fair.
Give me one of your bad deals.
So I got a big bad deal and they're both big, but I'll start with my non-quarterback one. So first one is Mike McGlinchey. So Broncos signed Mike McGlinchey and he's been struggling. He's a bottom tier tackle according to PFF. He has not produced how he's wanted to, but they are paying this guy $17.5 million a year. This guy is making cornerstone franchise Hall of Fame tackle money, and he's just bad.
It was just a limited market this year.
It was limited, and the Broncos paid him. I mean, I wanted the Bears to sign this guy. Little did I know, they made a good move. I mean, he's just bad. I mean, they're paying him almost $20 million a year for a tackle, and that's a cornerstone tackle money, and he's bad. That's all I got.
Okay, then give me your first quarterback. I see your second quarterback is someone a little familiar to my notes too, but
so my first quarterback is Jimmy G. It's 3 years, $67.5 million. I mean, it's an overpay. That's $22.5 million a year. That's You're expecting a franchise
It's a lot
type of
of dead
quarterback with
cap.
that. And Jimmy G's just bad. We've known he's not a franchise guy, especially with a team like the Raiders. That's a common dumpster fire.
They got Aiden O'Connell now. Stevenson legend.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell makes like 5% of that, and he's significantly better. So, yeah, Stevenson legend, Aiden O'Connell. But this took me a sec. But yeah, Jimmy G's just not good. They paid him this money knowing what he is and expected him to be a franchise guy. And that is so Raiders, and that is so ignorant. And it's just a terrible signing all the way around. And that's why Josh McDaniels is gone, and that's why the GM is gone. And that's why this new dude and Aiden O'Connell, the Stevenson legend, are the Kings of Vegas.
It is so Raiders of them.
It is so Raiders of them to give Jimmy G that money knowing he sucks.
And then of course.
And his injury history too. I mean, he's not even on the field.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I had to add that.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
But our last worst deal on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Danny
Danny Dimes.
We both have it in our notes. He's bad. They shouldn't have paid him. The whole world knows they shouldn't have paid him. And they pulled the Giants.
I saw Go Giants in the comments section earlier, and I'm
Sorry.
like, oh, I'm sorry, Spags. This is lining up for the man, the myth, the legend, the $160 million man, Daniel Jones.
I don't know how he has.
It's okay though, because they got Tommy DeVito.
They do have Tom, Illinois legend.
Yeah,
We got a
that's your
Stevenson
boy.
legend. We got an Illinois legend featured on the show.
Yeah,
Tommy
Brady's
DeVito.
winning over here.
Yeah, following good footsteps.
And you know what? That brings us to the final segment of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep clicking the wrong one. It's time for This Week in Vegas. You know, last week I went 2 out of 3, and the only incorrect pick was the Browns because I picked them, and then the very next morning, Deshaun Watson is out for the season.
They still won the game. I don't know what you.
They did still win the game, but they didn't win by 3.5 or 4 or whatever it was.
They won by 3.
Yeah, that's not 3.5 or 4.
That's tough.
And
Should've
our
picked the
guest
Steelers
picker
and the
last
Ravens.
week, Blake Young, he also went 2 for 3. He had the Ravens, the Eagles, and then the Jets, which that didn't work out. But
you do not bet on the Jets.
our guest pickers stay winning, and I'm 9 and 11 here. Brady is struggling at 5 and 9, but he's gonna make 4 picks today.
Let's just say it.
only 2. Go for it.
All right. So my first pick, I'm really confident about this. It's the Dolphins minus 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
It just Jules is betting on, so it's probably gonna lose now. But it feels
Whoa,
so.
I don't have any sprinkles on Dolphins minus.
You
9.5.
don't?
I
Oh.
might have to put some.
I mean, it's Tim Boyle. What do you expect? The Dolphins, their point differential is plus 116. I have this written down on teams under 500. They just blow everyone out. Every bad team they kill. This is 10 points against a team that doesn't score points. I mean, do the math. It's common sense. This is free money. Put your money. Dolphins minus 9.5. Put your money on it. Just bet Dolphins minus 9.5. It's an easy money.
This just reeks of one of those like America bet. Like
Yeah,
95% of
97%.
America has money on the Dolphins, and the Jets
And they miss.
the Jets lose by like 9 to just screw everyone over.
That would be so Jets.
Hey, I mean, I had the
Don't
Raiders.
put your mortgage on it, but maybe like some pocket.
I
Some
had the
pizza
Raiders to cover plus 12 against the Dolphins last week, and they pulled it off. So
money. Fair.
I think the Raiders
but
are
the
a
Raiders
lot more
are
competent than New York right now.
Aiden O'Connell is so much better than Tim Boyle.
Oh yeah. And what's your next pick?
My next pick.
before I
So
start
I
up?
love this pick. My next pick is the Texans plus 1.5 against the Jaguars.
Ooh.
I know Trevor Lawrence had a good week last week. He's been struggling this year. The Texans defense is young. They're fast. They're fiery. CJ Stroud is an absolute stud. I think he's going to ball out. I mean, this is more of a money line pick than a spread pick. I think the Texans win this game. I just think CJ Stroud outplays Trevor Lawrence, if I dare say.
It's fair
I
enough.
think they win the game.
Trevor
I believe they're
Lawrence-
home too.
I'm
I'm
not entirely sure who's
I don't know.
home.
Regardless, I think Texans win the game.
Texans beat the Jags in week 2 or 3 this
They
year
did,
by
and-
quite a bit.
And now both quarterbacks are better, but CJ Stroud has improved more in that span. I think it's fair to say.
Did you
Trevor
know? I
Lawrence.
believe this is only the 3rd time in their matchup history that they
Both
both have a
over
winning
500.
record.
Last time it was when David Carr and David Garrard, I think, were the quarterbacks.
Strong arm quarterback, David Garrard.
David Garrard, what a stud.
Looks it up. Mike Sims Walker knocked down. Oh, he caught it.
Mike Thomas.
Mike Thomas. All right, my
That's a great
first
call.
biggest pick. I'm gonna go with the Colts minus 2.5 against the Buccaneers.
I think the Bucs suck. That's a good pick.
I don't think the Bucs suck,
They're pretty
but I think the Colts are. I think the Bucs are mediocre, and the Colts are a little better level of mediocre.
That's fair. Gardner Minshew wins those types of games.
And
Minshew's a dude.
it's the Apple Cup this week in Washington. So,
so
I think Washington is going to beat Washington State. Gardner is going to be, a little upset about the game. Say, I got to represent for Wazoo and put it out on the field on Sunday against Baker.
That's a fantastic.
And they're home. So the Colts, are they coming off a bye week?
Colts,
maybe.
I think they are. Yeah.
So they've had a little time to scheme.
Yeah.
See what Gardner can make up.
When Gardner loses, bet he's wearing a Huskies coat in the podium. He'll be smiling because he beat the Bucs. All right. So my next pick, I got the Steelers -1.5 versus the Bengals. I don't know why this line is so.
Okay.
The Steelers are in the wild card spot, and they are favored by 1.5 points against a team who just lost their franchise quarterback for the year.
Yeah, but the Steelers lost something bigger this week. They lost Matt Canada.
Yeah, they lost the burden that's been pulling their offense underground for the last 2 years. I mean, I don't know if the Steelers offense is going to be better. I don't think it'll be worse. And if they put up 10 points, I think they can win this game. I mean, 17 points.
I mean,
17.
Yeah.
I just don't think Jake Browning's going to be good. I mean, he's been a career backup. The Bengals offense struggled with Joe Burrow in the beginning of the year. And then it took Joe Burrow heroics to get them out of that. I just don't see Jake Browning going and playing well against that Pittsburgh defense.
This definitely could be an Iowa Big Ten West type of game.
This is a 13-10 type of game. It really is.
It is.
But I just think the Steelers win this type of game. Kenny Pickett has that clutch gene. Jake Browning, I don't know if he does, but nobody really has the clutch gene against the Steelers defense, and especially a young, unproven quarterback.
Hey, Dorian Thompson-Robinson had that clutch gene against the Steelers defense.
Yeah, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson
for one drive.
Okay, that guy's a stud. We're not talking about DTR. Also, he threw like 48 times for 100 yards. He didn't really play that.
Also, I think it would be like the NFL gods saying like, Steelers, you got outgained all these games and you're 6-3. So everyone thinks, oh my gosh, they're going to get bailed out by facing DTR and Jake Browning the next 2 games, and just kick it back in the face, say, yeah, you'll lose to those guys to, even it out. Honestly, I could see that happen.
It would be really funny if the Steelers lost this game. But for my picks, I'm picking Steelers.
Wave your little towel over there.
Yeah, Steelers -1.5. I really don't care if you win. Actually, I need them. I need my record needs it. But it'd be so funny if they lost.
Your record really needs Hey, I mean, you're gonna have more picks than me in Tuesday's episode as well.
Yeah.
So
we're back Tuesday.
We are back on Tuesday. Quick turnaround. But my next pick is a primetime game. I got the Ravens -3.5 against the Chargers.
This is an interesting pick.
Chargers have, Brandon Staley's seat is really heating up as if it was already hot.
It shouldn't exist anymore.
It really shouldn't, but he's starting to get lose his cool, lose his temper in the post-game pressers.
Oh, that was funny.
That
was funny.
I saw I think Theo Ash on TikTok maybe posted some video sarcastically talking about how everything is Herbert's fault and just showing highlights of everyone else on the team. just complete some DB for them. Just let a dude run right by, let Romeo Dobbs run right by in the end zone. Yeah. And then Eckler fumbling.
How could Herbert coach him like that?
How can Herbert, tell not push Eckler farther into the end zone? And of course, Quentin Johnston dropping the ball.
How could you not place it over his front shoulder? Why do you have to make him go like this? He's an NFL receiver. You can't expect him to make that catch.
Chargers.
It's comic. The Chargers are a comical franchise at this point.
I feel bad for them, and they've got a home game where the Ravens fans are going to be louder than them in Los Angeles. Did I say Ravens or Raiders? I meant Ravens.
I don't remember.
The Ravens are a legit team, and the Chargers are washed.
The thing I will say, though, the Ravens play a lot of games close, even if they shouldn't be close, and the Chargers also play. The Chargers lose a lot of close games.
They do.
So I do not see this game being a blowout. I could. I think more than likely
figure it out.
I think more than likely this is a close game where Brandon Staley's incompetent coaching cost him the game at the end. But that could very well be a 27-24 game, not a 31-24 game.
I just think the Ravens.
I could see it. I think the hook is dangerous. I could see a 3-point game.
Honestly,
if it was 2.5, I'd be all over it. But
the Ravens kind of locked up Jamar Chase last week. Mm-hmm. I think they game plan for Keenan Allen. And honestly, who else on the Chargers is going to make a play? The linebackers can contain Eckler on their own, in my opinion.
Eckler is ridiculous.
I honestly don't see Eckler doing much this week.
Really?
Roquan and Patrick Queen and Kyle Van Noy, of course.
Roquan's not a great cover linebacker. Roquan's he's a great run. He's decent in coverage, but he's a great He's a great run
It's
linebacker.
not so much coverage. It's that a lot of Eckler's like big time playmaking ability
It's
is
underneath.
causing missed tackles in the open field. The Ravens are not a missed tackles type of team.
Fair. They got your guy Kyle Hamilton out there.
And so I don't think they need to game plan as much for Eckler. I think you game plan for Keenan Allen, and suddenly the Chargers are not going to be able to move the ball down the field very effectively. I would be concerned if I was a Chargers fan, and I do have one friend who's a Chargers fan. So they exist, believe it or not.
I'm sorry to that friend.
So yeah, that's my pick.
Fair.
That's my second pick.
My last pick, this is a risky pick because this outcome doesn't usually happen. But I have Raiders plus 8.5 against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have not.
Ooh, okay.
I just think because Aiden O'Connell has played well. The Raiders have been in a lot of close games. The Chiefs have not played well. They have not scored in the second half. They have not scored a lot. And the Raiders aren't great, but they're not get blown out bad. So I can really see this type of game being just like a 20-16, 2017 slugfest where the Chiefs win. But I don't see this being one of those 30
slugfest of 20-16.
I don't see this being, I don't see this being a 30-10 blowout like what normally happens when the Chiefs play the Raiders. I think this will be closer. I think Aiden O'Connell is going to play well, protect the ball. The Chiefs, again, they don't score that much in the second half. Their offense has not been as prominent as it has been in the past. I don't think this gets out of hand too quickly. I think the Raiders keep it close, and I think 8.5 is fine. So I'm taking Raiders plus 8.5. And if they lose by 20, then oh well.
Fair enough. That's a lot of points. And the Chiefs have not dominated division rivals by like big margins. They've won most of the games, but I don't even remember the last time the Raiders beat the Chiefs.
They lost to the Broncos a couple weeks ago.
They did. I don't remember the last time the Raiders beat them, but Chiefs haven't been dominant this year.
Yeah.
The receivers have really been letting them down. They should have beaten Philadelphia. I think Nick Sirianni continued his place as one of the most punchable coaches in the NFL.
I love Nick Sirianni.
Stop talking trash, Chiefs fans.
I don't hear you anymore. You
lost the Super Bowl, dog.
He's such a corny guy. He's so Philly. He's so Philly. I love it.
Yeah. And then
because like the Bears suck, so I can't hate Philly that much. It's just funny.
And then finally, let's wrap up today's episode. I just want to, this is the 1-year anniversary of Vic falling asleep while we're talking about destinations for Odell Beckham Jr., who is a recent free agent trying to find a place.
Yeah.
And you know what? We have a new recent free agent. His name is either Darius or Shaquille Leonard.
Shaquille Leonard.
Darius Leonard was an absolute baller. Shaquille Leonard hasn't figured it out, I guess. But the Colts released him. Where do you think could be a possible destination for this guy? Just honestly, off the top of your head. I know I didn't give you this question before.
I didn't know this was coming. I think where could he go? I want to say the Eagles because the Eagles will sign anyone and everyone, but that's too. I don't want to say the Eagles. I think the Cowboys could pounce on him.
Okay.
I think I know Leighton Vander Esch, he got hurt, right? Or is he?
I'm not sure.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm wrong. But the Cowboys, their secondary is so good. Their Micah Parsons is ridiculous. If they could get Shaquille Leonard in there, another stud linebacker, their defense would just be that much better. And the Cowboys have the money. They're going to go all out. Jerry's old. He's impatient. They're going to want this. And Shaquille Leonard.
Impatient?
Yes.
He's waited all this time and has no problem with the pieces that have not been winning for them.
Yeah, because he makes so much money. But think about how much, Jerry, think about the Super Bowl income. That's big. But I just see Shaquille Leonard's he's a stud. He's a great player. And I think he's going to he could put the Cowboys, he could just push them even further into that Super Bowl sphere. I think the Cowboys are an under-8 team.
I think that's a good fit for him. My place for him is Buffalo. Buffalo defense.
They did lose Matt Milano.
They lost Matt Milano early in the season. So they need a new linebacker. There are guys who have stepped in and have done all right, not great. They've lost to teams like the Broncos. They've lost to a couple other teams recently. The Bengals took care of them. If the Bills want to really make a playoff run in that crowded AFC West, that playoff picture is ridiculous right now. You got like 4 teams at 5-5, a bunch of 6-4s. It's really crowded for that wild card race. And I think Buffalo could really use Shaquille Leonard. If they sign him, he instantly is plug and play.
Yeah.
Making tackles, making forced fumbles, interceptions, pass
fair.
like
He's
all the things
he's
he
a
did with
turnover. He's a maniac.
Indianapolis.
He's the turnover machine.
I think he could really find a good fit there. So that's how we're gonna wrap up today's show.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching.
And
Fun episode.
we'll see you on Tuesday for another episode of Neutral Zone Reaction. And then come December, we will have NZR Bowl Bash predicting every single college bowl game
That'll be
for the
fun.
bowl season. Thanks
Tune
for
in
watching.
episode.
And we hope you have a great
Happy
rest
Black
of your
Friday.
weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving.